Hello, everyone, and welcome in. So, in this message, we are going to look into the full moon energy for the end of September. Now, this will be the last super moon of 2023. And when a super moon occurs, it simply means that the moon carries more power behind it. Now, this full moon will be in the sign of Aries. So, if there's any business matters or money dealings that you need to handle, now is a good time for that. Another area that will be affected is boundaries with self, with others. So if there are any habit or person in your life that you might feel is holding you back, now is the time to address it. In this message, we are going to first tap into the energy surrounding you. We're going to see what's hidden through this full moon, what's challenging you. We'll look at how to release, how to correct this energy, and then we'll move into the outcome if action is taken and outcome if no action is taken. Now, don't forget, guys, we also do a cord cutting ritual on the night of the full moon. I'll try to make it as close as I can to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you're more than welcome in joining us. So let's jump into these messages. So we're going to dive into Scorpio's energy for this upcoming full moon. Most important message here for Scorpio spirit. What do my Scorpion friends need to know? What do they need to release through this upcoming energy? Please and thank you. Four of Swords on the bottom. Healing, rest, restoration. Energy surrounding you, Scorpio, is the Ace of Staffs. It's a new beginning, new things coming in. It's challenging you through this energy is the Strength. What will help you to transmute this energy is the Wheel of Fortune. So lean into that universal energy. Trust the universe. Trust spirit. Trust deity. Whatever God, whatever deity you pray to, you need to lean into your spirituality a little bit more. The outcome, if action is taken, is the Devil energy, and the outcome, if no action is taken, is the Three of Coins. I honestly feel here, Scorpio, there's been some big changes that you have recently gone through. And I feel like this is involving some sort of ending, something that you had to release. But I feel like you're still going through some healing work. Still kind of acclimating to this new life, if it makes sense. This Devil energy is representative of the energy that you're still working through. The reason why this is coming up in the position of if action is taken, this will be the outcome. It's because I feel here that you still have a lot of healing. I feel here shadow work is going to help you through this process. It'll speed it up a little bit quicker. And that's why the message is to lean into the universe. Accepting that you've come a long way, and you should give yourself some credit for that. But the journey isn't over. Let's clarify this. We're going to start with the Ace of Staffs, and I do feel like this is a self-discovery message. I feel like this is going within. I feel like there are some people around you that have been kind of feeding into this behavior to allow you to stay comfortable. But there's no growth in comfortability. And even though at this time, yes, take a rest, take some time, some space, breathe, with the understanding that there's still work that needs to be done. So this Ace of Staffs is going to be clarified by the Seven of Cups, the Knight of Swords. Seven of Swords, so you see what I mean. shrouded in mystery. And it's because the waters are still murky. It's like this wound is still fresh. This ending just happened. Whatever you've released, it needed to come to an end. It was toxic. There was a lot of secrets. There were a lot of things that were hidden, a lot of fighting, bickering, arguing. But understand that there's still a long way to go. This was an uphill battle, right? But I still feel here, Scorpio, you haven't reached the peak. Now, for some of you, this is pertaining to something that's affecting your health. So this is something that will have a long-term effect if it isn't corrected, okay? For others of you, it's just like affecting relationships, which still will have a long-term effect, but it's not going to be, it's like you're going to have to actively work to change this behavior pattern. Now, for some of you, this is like an addiction. I'm just going to say it. And it needs addressed. Now, let's take a second to understand for those that this is resonating with as an addiction. Let's take a second to break that down. Because what is an addiction? If you have any substance that you use on a regular basis in some form or fashion, your body is in need of the chemical that it's producing. So in a roundabout way, your body naturally becomes dependent on that substance, no matter what it is, whether it's prescribed from your doctor or not. Okay? Now, why am I saying this? I'm not saying that addiction is bad, but anything that we overindulge in can be bad for our health. It can have a long-term effect. So what does that mean? Well, there are natural herbs, natural substances, natural remedies. For example, you can smoke pot, yes. You can also drink blue lotus, and it will have the same calming effect if you put it in a tincture or a tea that cannabis does. You see what I mean? So there are other substances that you can ingest and indulge in that won't have as significant as effect on your body, but will still have the same calming effect. Finding those remedies that work for you is what's going to be the key, and then acclimating into your life, right? So first you have to find, like, this could have been the first time that you heard about these herbal remedies. So you have to figure this information out, research it for yourself, and then implement it into your life. Okay? And that's what this hermit energy is. It's like taking time, doing the research, figuring all of this out, figuring out this new way of being, this new way of thinking, this new way of living. And yes, it will bring you more happiness. It will bring you more joy, and leaning into that spiritual aspect. So guys, those of us that have been hurt by church, understand that it's still important to connect with your higher power spiritually. I don't care what anybody says. You can still connect with a higher power without having to go to church, and no, it's not praising the devil. That's what they want you to believe. But if you believe that you're connecting with your higher power of love and in compassion, what's the difference? Make it make sense. Make it make sense, guys. If you're not worshiping evil entities and negative entities, lower vibrational entities, if you're still connecting with one higher vibrational source, what's the difference? You can still find family and connection in community. You can still connect to your higher power the way it suits you. So if you feel like you want to connect with a community and higher power that way, by all means. If you feel like it's a better fit for you to connect with your higher power on your own, go into nature. Create your own space to do so. You have to create the lifestyle and your way of thinking, being, doing as you see fit. And that's what this reading is about. It's like moving into a new way of being, moving into a new way of thinking. The easiest way that I can explain this and relate to this is when I was going through my spiritual awakening process. There were a lot of things that I was doing, a lot of ways of living that weren't in alignment with living a spiritual path. For instance, I went out to eat fast food a lot. I wasn't really paying attention to my health as much. So those were things that I had to change. Fasting. I'd never heard of fasting. Now I have a routine where I incorporate that every month into rituals that I do for myself to be able to connect, to be able to meditate, to be able to do all of these things because of the path that I'm on. So that's the only way that I could relate. This could be a plethora of different things. This could be an addict going from an unhealthy addiction to living a more healthy lifestyle. This could be somebody who's getting out of a toxic relationship and having to acclimate into normalcy and being a little bit fearful of that. What does that look like? Okay, so how do we have to address that, right? If we let the fear linger and we don't have a plan or an idea of how we're going to overcome that, it's going to cause anxiety. The fear of the unknown is what will trigger that anxious feeling. So let's address it. Let's clarify the devil for Scorpio's energy. There are some things that you're going to have to overcome. It's not going to be comfortable in doing so. It may be a difficult conversation that you have to have with somebody, right? Of somebody that you maybe need to distance yourself from. Like that last one little connection to that lifestyle. That one little trigger to that way of being. Now, if no action is taken as the Three of Pentacles, what does this mean, Scorpio? Well, this means you have people around you that are supporting your growth, that are supporting this healing process. You also have people around you that are supporting this toxic behavior pattern, this toxic lifestyle. You have to be the person to choose. That's where free will comes in. This or that. You can choose to do the shadow work. You can choose to overcome this devil energy, this lower vibrational thing that keeps you stuck. Not necessarily pulling you backwards, but it's not allowing you to move forward either. Let's clarify the Three of Pentacles for Scorpio's energy. Hui. Page of Swords. Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, so that's not a good thing. Again, Scorpio, you have a choice here. It's like you can stay in this energy, not heal, right? Not get a rest. Continue down the same path you always go down, because there are people that will support you through that energy, but nothing is going to change here. You see the Page of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune. It's like you're giving up. It's like you've lost hope. You'll always be on the go, always be looking over your shoulder, always be wondering what would be different if I would have just put in a little bit more effort in that healing process. Now, guys, I'm not saying shadow work is pretty, but it's not hard. And you don't have to stay there. It's not like you have to do shadow work for a year in order to be healed. No. There are shadow journals that you can get that will help you to hone in on exactly what it is, the questions exactly that you need to ask to help you over those humps. Okay, to help you through that journey, to help you to speed up the process. Okay, what is an addiction? All an addiction simply is a coping mechanism. It's a way for you to have your brain react in a way that you see normal, that you see fit, that fits you, for you and your lifestyle, whatever that means to you. Everybody's going to be different because everybody's chemical makeup is different. Now, granted, if you have a doctor helping you through this process, they know a little bit more of the science behind the chemicals that you're using, as opposed to just self-medicating. But addiction is addiction, guys. There's no difference between if you are dependent on a medication or if you're dependent on a street drug that basically is helping you to self-medicate, to cope with whatever traumatic experience it is that you're healing from. And a lot of times when shadow work comes up in readings, it's a deep wound. It's not just something that happened through the pandemic. Like, this is something that needs addressed from childhood. So leaning into your higher power through this process, it's going to help you to feel grounded. It's going to help you to return to that hopeful space once again. And then we have obedience, which is interesting. This card is talking about relying on the universe. You see in this card how she has her blindfold on, sword held in her hand on one foot. It's like she's trusting in something other than herself. This card talks about trusting in the universe and doing the things that you need to do that may not feel comfortable in order to get the outcome that you desire. Again, whoever this message is for, it may only be for one person, and that's fine. But whoever this message is for is going through a significant healing journey. Take your time there, but understand that it's not going to last forever. So it's important to spend time here. It's part of the journey. It's part of the process, especially if this is like a spiritual awakening. By you going through this healing journey and making it out on the other side will allow you to give that perspective of having gone through that to help another person through that same path. Trust the process, Scorpio. So I feel like that's a good solid message. For information on rituals, ritual kits, any other useful information is all below in the description box. Thank you guys again for all the love and support, and I look forward to reading your cards again soon. Namaste.